Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste Experience. I like saying that. It's got a ring to it. I was just saying that this morning, the beautiful lesson from A Course in Miracles, the peace of God is shining in me now, right now, is going through my head and moving through my heart. Especially those words, right now. It's happening right now. It's up to me to choose whether I'm going to see or perceive or feel that, but it's happening. And that's where it begins, with the confidence of knowing that the peace of God is shining in me right now. I can choose to keep my eyes closed, or I can open them, my spiritual eyes, and see it reflecting off of each one of you, that beautiful light. That's all we're really here to do, or to be mirrors for the light to shine, to radiate. And when we do that, we awaken, we enter into that experience, the Namaste experience that we love to talk about. Once again, I'm looking at the back of the room, and the lesson for the day says, all gifts my brother gives belongs to me, and all gifts I give belong to my brother and my sister. It goes both ways, because there's really only one way. There's only one extension of the love and the loveliness of God, one. And it's happening through and as you right now, and through and as you, and through and as you. And this is the thing that the perceptual mind absolutely cannot understand. If I say that there's one extension of the love and the loveliness of God, and it's you, does that exclude me? Does that exclude other people? No. It seems to, in perceptual time and space, and it seems that if I address you, I'm not addressing another, but the love of God is all encompassing. So that which is true for you is the truth for all, because that's all there is. So don't get caught in the words. Just let the experience itself take hold. The peace of God is shining right now in you, in me, in each one of us. And there's a line right after that, right at the very beginning of that lesson 188, that says, why wait for heaven? Why? You're only closing your eyes. Enlightenment, it says, is not a change. You don't have to change to become enlightened. This is the thing that most of us cling to. I'll be enlightened when? After I've done X, Y, and Z, after I've changed in this way and that way, I've let go of that, and maybe I've read more books, then maybe I'll be enlightened. Enlightenment is not a change. It's the realization of that within you that can never change. Really feel that for a moment. It's already true. The peace of God and the light of God are shining in you right now. Nothing needs to change. You don't need to do anything in order to be everything. It's who you are right now. So open your eyes and see who you are right now, reflecting off your brother and your sister. It really is that simple, if we would just allow it to be that simple. So I just thought I'd mention that. The peace of God is shining so bright here in this holy family. We gather here every day. So many of you on Zoom, and you here at Namaste, you're here every day because it's like daily nourishment. Would you just arbitrarily choose to spend a day not eating, unless you were fasting? Otherwise, you probably wouldn't do that. I'm just not going to eat today. It's not a normal thing, but it's the same with this. Coming together, joining together in this way, it's nourishment. It warms us. It's like coming to a fire that is so bright and so hot. And if we wander away from that fire, yes, we become cold and we want to come back. So coming back here, joining as we do every day is so important. Nourishment for the soul, for the awakening, for the Namaste experience. So once again, welcome. Great to have, we have some new faces here at Namaste. So good to see all of you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share the screen on today's little, should I call it a channeling? Channeling the Holy Spirit? Well, not a channeling in a download. Okay. I'm going to stick with download for now. I like that. Our daily download. I like that, a daily download. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. It says, take all the time that you need. We're going to hear what that means in a moment. The foundation of all of your beliefs in time and space. The foundation is that you're separate from everything you perceive. Isn't that true? In time and space, the one lesson it is here to teach you is that you are separate from everything you perceive. And it will give you plenty of evidence to support that. You believe that you are separate from God and from everyone else in the world. But the experience with a capital E, the experience you're being guided toward, teaches you something very different. The experience teaches you that separation, the separation you seem to experience, is not real and never will be. The peace of God is shining in me right now. This is what I can only see when I can feel that light, when I can feel that radiance. Now I can see this and know this and then extend this. That the separation you seem to experience is not real and never will be. Those are mere words to you now, but the instant you finally relax into the experience with a capital E, that's behind the words, it will become a vibratory reality. And the first thought that will enter your mind is, how could I not have seen this before? Each and every single one of you, when that vibratory reality takes full hold of you, you'll open up your spiritual eyes. You'll see what has always been true. You'll experience what has always been right in front of you. And you'll say, how could I not have seen this before? It's been right here the whole time. Your holiness, your perfection, your oneness has always been present. You didn't see it before because you didn't want to see it, but you can choose to see it now if you want, since that's the only time it can be seen, right now. Take all the time you want, but that does not make time real. Oh, I like that line. Take all the time you want, but that does not make time real. You still believe that because you started this journey as a baby and hope to peacefully die as an old person in your sleep, that you have conquered time. Isn't that funny that we cling to that hope? It's like everything leads to that desire that I will be old and will die peacefully instead of some other way. And so we string it out instead of realizing it's happening right now. It's happening right now. And when you realize that, when you experience that happening right now, you'll play out whatever game you need to play out with your body. That's going to play out on its own. And it won't matter one iota if you leave 10 minutes from now or 25 years from now. None of that matters because it's right now. And we begin to relax into that right now. And then grace takes hold. Grace takes hold of us. And everything else comes to us easily and naturally. Take all the time you want, but that does not make time real. You cannot conquer something that is not real. And the eternal experience I am pointing to you shows you that. The eternal experience I am pointing you to is you. That's what the I am current within you is always trying to get you to see. It's trying to get you to see you with a capital Y. The holiness within you, the perfection within you. That's it. And you can begin by you choosing to see it in your brother or your sister, by giving it away, because that's what God does. God gives it away. God is in a constant state of extension, while the ego is in a constant state of what? What's the P word? Projection. Remember, we talked about this yesterday from the other voice. It said that the difference between projection and extension is that what extends from God is totality, and it extends in a total way. But what projects from the ego is partiality. It only will project or desire a certain amount. But with extension, that which comes from the divine and that which can come from you at any moment, if you choose, is that the same wholeness, the same perfection. That's what extension is all about. So once again, the eternal experience I am pointing you to is you. I'm asking you to be as uncompromising, here we're back to that, to be as uncompromising with this reality as it is with you. In other words, heaven has never lost sight of you, but you seem to have lost sight of heaven. Why would you compromise such a beautiful experience of knowing that you're in heaven right now? Why would you compromise that? The answer is that you are afraid of the experience of your own divinity. So face that fear. Don't deny it. Don't turn away from it. The sooner you look at it, the quicker it will dissolve. And the quicker it dissolves, the sooner you will open your eyes and see that you are surrounded by love itself, this and every moment. So don't run away. Turn right into the storm, or what at least appears to be the storm from the ego's perspective. The ego perceives grace as a great storm to avoid. The truth is, turn into it, go right into it, and you'll find the I right in the center of it all. The I am, right in the center of what you misperceived. And ultimately, what you misperceived was you. But you can change that like that by choosing to see that reality, that light, that holiness, that oneness in your brother or your sister, no matter what. No matter what they say, do, how they act, what they believe, who they voted for, any of that, to see that wholly and completely in your brother or your sister. You can't see it in yourself unless you do that, and vice versa, because it's a circle. So that's our download for the day, our daily download. So I'm going to turn to Vicki now. And Victoria, I'd like to hear your inspiration around this download.
Oh, this is a wonderful one. Good morning to me, Brother James, and everyone here. Welcome to the new guys. And I'm going to turn this, Jimmy, to Teddy, because he has something that's really wondrous in line with today's lesson. All the gifts of God that we give, we receive, all of them. Here you go, Teddy. And then I'll share.
Go.
Here we go.
I can't hold them.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Teddy.
Well, one is Helen's notes, and the other is the Sparkly, and they're on Amazon.
They just arrived yesterday?
They just went on when?
This week.
This weekend, and we just got them. We had to send for them. So we just got them. And there's a few things that have to be done to make it ready for print. They sort of messed up a little bit on the inside. But at least they're out. They're on Amazon. Anybody can get them. And the covers look great, as a matter of fact. So the Sparkly, because it was so big, it's divided into two editions.
Heavy paper.
The text and the clarification, what I call the introduction.
And Teddy, do you want to tell us what this version is, how it's different than, say,
Okay.
the Foundation
So,
piece
okay,
version?
so this is what I'll say. So we'll look at Helen's notes first. So when Helen was talking to Jesus, that's why we call it Helen's notes, dialogues with Jesus. When Helen was getting the communication from Jesus, the downloads, when Helen was getting the downloads from Jesus, she took them down in shorthand. So they were all just her shorthand notes, pages and pages of shorthand notes. Now, when we had the court case, they had to give me all the material, so they gave me Helen's shorthand notes. So what I did was I found two people, Lana and Sprinkles, and they both could read her shorthand notes. So they transcribed the shorthand notes into, what Helen actually wrote and how it came out. Doug Monkton did it as well. So this book, Helen's Notes, are the transcribed notes from Helen without any editing at all. And Jesus said, do the first 8 chapters, because after that, it's pretty much directly what's in the Course in Miracles. So these are notes directly from Jesus to Helen, exactly as she received them. And from, I've been giving them out in PDFs. And the people who read them are finding them incredible because there's a lot more information. And there's a lot of direct examples of how what he's talking about works and why it works in situations. So, and as far as I know, other than Doug's, which is a little different, this has no footnotes, it's just all direct. This is the first time it's been out this way. And the sparkly, what I was told to do after the case was publish Bill Thetford's edit, because in the Helen's notes, you'll read that Bill Thetford was told that he was the one to figure out what should be included and what should be excluded in the Course in Miracles. And that's what he did. He did this, he did a whole version. And when Ken Wapnick came along, he decided to edit Bill Thetford's version. So everything you get from the foundation is edited from what Jesus originally wanted the Course to be. And so when he told me, he said, put out Bill Thetford's edit. So that's what we did. Now, originally I had done it, but I just did it really fast. And there were things in it there were things in the introduction that didn't coincide with what's in the book, such as Ken Wapnick says the term soul is too controversial and it'll be left out. Now, in Bill Thetford's edit, he uses the word soul a couple hundred times because he used the term soul. Jesus used the term soul with Helen and Bill a lot. Ken thought it was controversial, so he edited it out. Now, I put it in, but I left that he had edited out, so it didn't make sense. So there's a few things I had to correct, and this is the correction for those. So this is Bill Thetford's edit of A Course in Miracles, which in Helen's notes you read, Bill was responsible for what was to be kept into the Course and what was taken out. And what you buy normally from the foundation is not that. So he asked me to put this out, and I did.
Actually, Teddy, Ravi just asked a question that you could probably give a short, good answer. He asked, how is this different from the Urtext version?
I'm not entirely sure, because when people say Urtext, I'm not entirely sure what they mean. I'd have to see it to know, but it's probably close to being the same.
Yeah. I think it's even before Bill started editing, isn't it? Like the
I
original.
don't. It is? No, I don't know. You know?
Yeah, it is. The Urtext were the original notes that Bill just typed up. There are many versions of those original notes, though, that Ken had. But the ones that got released in the case are one full set of just dictated and typed up notes with errors and everything. And that's the Urtext you see in some of the books, Perry's, Robert Perry, and Doug Thompson, and a few others. So this is what happened after the Urtext. The Bill was told at that time, before they knew Ken, to edit it for publication so that people could receive it easily. And one of the reasons Ken made changes was that he felt it wouldn't be well received with some of the terms. So I think we trust, Teddy, I trust that that was appropriate for the time. And now the time of greater maturity, hopefully, where everything can be available in every form.
And this
So
is
all versions are helpful. So, but all versions teach the same lesson of forgiveness and holiness.
so this is what I'll say also, because now I understand what people are talking about. Okay, so when I read Robert Perry's, he says it's the Urtext. But Robert Perry edited it also. So there were terms that he didn't like that he changed.
Doug Thompson put an Urtext too.
Yeah, Doug Thompson. But Doug Thompson's is probably faithful.
Doug Thompson's is
But-
faithful with a lot of
But
scholarly
there's a ton of
comments,
footnotes and comments.
which is helpful to many.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Coming back to the daily download, bringing that, what we're discussing here, this direct experience, transmission, download that Helen received in its purest form, the word soul and everything that was the original intention of that Christ mind. I'm going to read the last paragraph very quickly of the daily download and tell me how all of that relates together. Okay, here it is. I'm asking you to be as uncompromising with this reality. I think that's it right there. To be as uncompromising with this reality as it is with you. In other words, heaven has never lost sight of you, but you seem to have lost sight of heaven. Why would you compromise such a beautiful experience? The answer is that you're afraid of the experience of your own divinity. Face that fear. Don't deny it. Don't turn away. The sooner you look at it, the quicker it will dissolve. The quicker it will dissolve. And the quicker it dissolves, the sooner you will open your eyes and see that you are surrounded by love this and every moment. There's a frequency there that is the frequency of the Christ mind, the uncompromising Christ mind, which is what you have so beautifully put out. So talk to us of how those things relate together.
Okay, well, what you're talking about is definitely an experience. And when you have that experience, exactly what you said is true. How did I not see this before? Because it's what is real, and we've been looking at an illusion, let's say. So one of the reasons why I know that this is coming out is so people stop being afraid. The idea, because Helen was, she was a normal person. She was revelatory ready and had revelation, but she didn't know what to do with them. So the idea that each and every one of us can actually hear within ourselves the truth is the truth. And if we use Jesus as the truth, the way, the truth, and the light, then, hearing or communicating with something of that nature brings about an experience of the truth. And that's what this is all about, to help people stop being afraid of the experience so that they can finally have it for themselves and know the truth and know who they are in reality. Because time, we think time is going forward. It's really going backward to the point where we all remember the truth and no longer need space and time.
I like that idea that we're really going backwards. to that original split, returning to love, returning to the idea that separation was possible to heal that original thought. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And separation is only possible in a dream. In reality, it's impossible. And that's what we need to see.
Mm-hmm. Vicki, what about you? What does that ring? What bell does that ring in your mind and your heart?
Off the bat, the fundamental error of seeing things as separate comes along with a fundamental feeling of guilt.
Right.
Fundamental holiness is nothing but taking a stand for innocence, choosing to see my brother's innocence no matter who, no matter what. You know, rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief, you know, rapist, murderer, everything. To focus on the essence of my brother as being spirit, as being a soul, as being innocent. The universal mark of holiness is innocence. The universal experience, whenever it shows up in us, is an experience of our own innocence, our brother's innocence, as one field of awareness that somehow we pop into. But all of us can choose, and that's what Jesus in the workbook is getting us more and more to do. Take a stand for the truth. Don't put up with anything else. Don't be about it. Just take a stand for, I don't care what he is, what he did. This is my brother in whom I am well pleased. My Father is well pleased, and his holiness blesses me. I will see only that. I won't see a sick body. I won't see a dying body. I won't see an evil body. I won't see an attacking body. I will see the holiness that is the essence that is before me in my awareness and in my, that's my choice. Choose again. That's where we choose again. And time and the need for time to continue to project can end with any one of us right with that thought.
Oh, so the other thing I want to say, and I think this is important for the human mind, when we experience guilt, we think we did something wrong. We didn't do anything wrong. We're just seeing wrongly. So that's why the admonition is always change your mind, because you didn't do anything wrong. You're seeing from a position that justifies guilt rather than a position that recognizes holiness.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, when we hear I'm going to mute you guys for a moment. When we hear the assertion that we're all the same, that there's only one thing going on, there is a debate, a kind of debate that's ultimately one-sided and doesn't mean anything. But there seems to be a debate between how the ego takes that statement and how the soul responds to that statement. The ego hears that and says, it points at the worst of the worst, like Hitler, and says, you mean we're all the same as that? But the answer of the soul is it looks at the pinnacle, the highest of the high, the Christ, and says, no, you're all the same as that. Trust me, I know. And I've told this story before, but Neil Donald Walsh told me this himself, of how he was getting on an airplane. You've heard this, many of you, some of you may have not. He's getting on an airplane. He was kind of fed up with all the travel. He sits down next to an old man who happens to be reading Conversations with God. But the dust jacket is not on there, so there's no way that this man will know that he's the guy. And so Neil asks him, what do you think of that book? And the old man says, first, you need to know I'm Jewish. And I have had opportunity to forgive so many people in so many ways, but there was always one person I was never able to forgive, and that was Hitler. I've held on to it my whole life because my entire family was killed during the Holocaust. Then he holds up the book and says, now I can forgive Hitler. He answered the ego's primary defense when the ego pointed at the so-called worst of the worst or the lowest of the lowest and say, you can't love that, can you? I got you there. And he had an experience. That man on that plane sitting next to Neil had an experience where he relaxed into forgiveness and said, yes, I can. I can forgive even that. That's where the shift happens. That's where the experience flips. And you're no longer hearing the voice or the reasoning of the ego, but hearing the reasoning and the voice of the soul, of the spirit that points at the pinnacle, the highest of the high, the Christ mind, and says, no, we're all the same as that. So that's what that inspires in me. And Teddy, we're so happy that you're going to be getting those books out. And I'm so happy we could help you do that here at Namaste. And I know it's going to touch the lives of so many people. And we're very blessed to have both you and Vicky with us every day. Amazing, huh? Yes.
Kindle version.
Oh, yes, I meant to ask that. Teddy, I went to look at Helen's notes the other day on Amazon, and I noticed it was not on Kindle. Are you going to get it on Kindle? Oh, you have to unmute yourself, Ted.
I'll have to talk to Annie about that to see what we have to do. They have all these things have changed. There's so many different regulations now that I'm not sure, how to go about this. But it's possible. But like I said, if anyone wants, a PDF of it, all they have to do is send me their email and I'll get them one.
Awesome. Why don't you put your email in the chat so people can write that down? That's a great idea. Thank you, Teddy. Well, all I can say is that it's happening. It's happening. Get on the train. That peace train is pulling out of the station. Now, the thing is, if you do get left behind, there's another one right behind it. But why not this one? Why wait for heaven? You're merely closing your eyes. It's happening right now. That's all we say over and over and over again here. It's happening right now. So get on the train. All right, everybody. This was a great session. So glad you could join us. Teddy, please give Vicky our love, and we'll be back again tomorrow.
Okay.
What was that, Ted?
Okay. I'll tell her that, and there's my email address.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Disappeared.
All right. Let's go ahead and we'll do our final prayer here. If you would like to stand up, you're welcome to. And here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.
Happy Thursday. Love you.
Jay